Hi, my name is Jimena and today we're going to be talking about plastic. So just to start off, I know you guys have probably seen on the bottom of bottles there's usually like this little triangle. I'll put a picture here with numbers in it. I don't know if you guys know what those numbers mean, but if you guess that's the number of times that this bottle has been recycled, that is actually wrong. That number is there to indicate which type of plastic it is, and there are 7 main types, which we will be covering today in this video. We're going to walk through them, tell you where you've most likely seen these plastics, any health risks that are associated with them, and then we are going to be talking about the average lifetime of each plastic. And when I say average lifetime, I actually don't mean how long it takes for it to be fully gone forever, because once it's created, it really can't be destroyed. It really just breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces of plastic, which we call microplastics, and those continue to stay in our environment and there's nothing we can really do about those. So just be wary that when I do say that these decompose or break down, they're literally just tinier fragments of this, what used to be this bottle. And I just want to let you guys know that this is not to scare you in any way, shape, or form. This is just to have you be better informed about the things that you are consuming and putting into your body, because we aren't really taught these things and we probably should be. So without further ado, let's just like jump into it. Alright guys, so first up we're going to be talking about PET. So you're most commonly going to see this plastic in salad dressings, peanut butter, cooking oil, window cleaner, mouthwash. While PET is approved for safe contact with food and beverages by the FDA and health agencies around the world, in the presence of heat, it can actually leach antimony, which is a toxic metalloid, into foods and beverages. This can cause vomiting, diarrhea, and stomach ulcers. Some studies have even shown up to 100 times the antimony in bottled water compared to clean groundwater. Typically, the longer that a bottle is on the shelf and exposed to heat or sunshine, the more that is leached into the product. So the average lifetime of PET is about 450 years. So to sum it all up, it's cheap and it has a high strength to weight ratio. On the other hand, it can't be used for storage of beer or wine because it can oxidize, and it's not biodegradable like at all. It can be recycled, but it's commonly used for single-use purposes, and those, depending on your type of recycling facility, are more than likely not going to be recycled. So next up is plastic number 2, LDPE, also known as high-density polyethylene. It is actually today's most widely used plastic, and you'll most commonly see it in milk and juice bottles, shampoo bottles, grocery bags, cereal box liners, and hard hats. So, like PET, it is considered safe, but it's known to leak estrogenic chemicals. So this excess of estrogen can have effects such as early puberty in females, reduced sperm counts, altered functions of reproductive organs, obesity, altered sex-specific behaviors, increased rates of some ovarian, breast, testicular, and prostate cancers. Unless it is recycled, it can remain anywhere between 100 and 1,000 years. And for this being the most highly produced plastic, only about 30 to 35% is recycled. A pro is that it is impact resistant and it resists mold, mildew, and rotting. Some of the cons are that because this is a petroleum product, like most other plastics, it's not biodegradable or environmentally friendly, like in any way, shape, or form. It can also absorb odors and flavors when it's kept in the fridge, and also all the health stuff we just talked about. So next up is PVC, or polyvinyl chloride. You're most commonly going to see this plastic in tubing, packaging, piping and siding, healthcare, and electronics. So the additives to PVCs are actually where the toxicity of this material comes from. Mainly a pollutant referred to as dioxin, which is found in the production and burning of the material. DHEP is also another additive that can be toxic and has already been banned in Europe. However, they replaced it with an additive that we don't know the health impacts of. You know, they could always, you know, test things before they release them to the public. So these additives were added to make the substance more malleable, but they mimic hormones in your body, and it can lead to conditions like cancer, distribution of the endocrine system, which means that the glands secrete hormones, birth defects, reproduction impairments, immune system suppression, and neurotoxicity, which leads to brain damage. And yeah, the average lifetime of this plastic is pretty much forever. It can only be disposed of by landfill, incineration, and fires, or it can be recycled. So on the pro side, it's affordable. On the con side is that it causes the largest production of chloride gas in the world, which, if you didn't know, has an effect on the ozone hole. So the next plastic is LDPE, otherwise known as low-density polyethylene. It's most commonly seen in dry cleaning bags, bread bags, produce bags, garbage bags, and paper milk cartons. As with most plastics, it can leach estrogenic chemicals, which cause adverse effects to the human body, like those we previously mentioned, with HDPE, such as early puberty in females, reduced sperm count, and obesity. And the average lifetime is 100 years plus. One of the pros is that it's impact resistant, which means it just doesn't break easily, and it can stand up to hazardous materials. So con is that it's only sometimes recycled and only some places recycle it. So you should check with your local grocery store, because some places do collect the bags inside of the store, but no curbside recycling is going to recycle it. Next up is PP, also known as polypropylene. So you're most commonly going to see this plastic in yogurt containers, deli food containers, winter clothing insulation, carpeting, and toys. Polypropylene is bad for the endocrine system. It can cause genetic mutations, tumors, and it can also mimic the female hormone estrogen, causing problems like those mentioned previously, early puberty in females, reduced sperm counts, and obesity, as well as other side effects. The average lifetime is between 20 and 30 years, but I should also say only 3% is actually recycled. So pro, I guess, is that it's fatigue resistant, which means that it keeps its shape even if you like bend it or flex it or whatever, and it's cheap. However, it is susceptible to UV degradation, it's highly flammable, and it's susceptible to oxidation. Next up is PS, also known as polystyrene, but many people know it as styrofoam. So you're most commonly going to see this in cups, plates, takeout containers, supermarket meat trays, and packing peanuts. So the FDA has for decades stated that polystyrene is safe for contact with food. However, polystyrene contains substances of styrene and benzene. One is a suspected carcinogen, and the other one is a neurotoxin. Both are harmful to humans. Hot foods and liquids can actually start to partially break down the styrofoam and cause some of those toxins to be absorbed into the bloodstream and tissue. A 1986 EPA report on solid waste actually named the polystyrene manufacturing process as the 5th largest creator of hazardous material or hazardous waste in the US. Polystyrene's environmental impacts were the second highest, right behind aluminum, according to the California Integrated Waste Management Board. And although there is evidence that styrene can cause cancer in animals, it has not yet been proven to do so in humans. Styrene primarily exhibits its toxicity to humans as a neurotoxin by attacking the central peripheral nervous system. In general, polystyrene is not accepted in curbside collection recycling programs. For example, the whole state of Oregon only has one place that recycles it. And in Germany, polystyrene is collected as a consequence of the packing law, I'm not going to try to say it, that requires manufacturers to take responsibility for recycling or disposing of any packaging material they sell. The average lifetime of polystyrene is about 500 years, and that's, again, just for it to break down into smaller pieces, not for it to be gone forever. So, a pro is that it is convenient for food. A con is that it is not safe whatsoever. And last but not least, plastic number 7, otherwise known as the other category. So it includes things like acrylic, polycarbonate, polylactic, Lexan, BPA, etc. You're most likely going to run into this plastic with toys, gardening pots and equipment, sippy cups, water coolers, car parts. So as far as health risks go, BPA and BPS are both endocrine disruptors, which means that they mimic estrogenic hormones. Like I previously stated, they are known to cause things like early puberty, reduced sperm count, obesity. They can also, these endocrine disruptors are also suspected of increasing the risk of adult reproductive cancers, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes. So, because this is the other category, we can't give it a proper lifetime number because there is a lot of different types. So we're just gonna assume that it takes about 100 years to break down because that sounds about like the average. So the pro is that some are compostable. Usually they will label it on the packaging, so you should always look out for that, but they aren't recyclable, which is the con. Whew. But to summarize, plastics in categories 2, 4, and 5 are generally considered safe, but be wary of putting them in the microwave. Even if they're labeled microwave safe, like, don't trust it. Plastics 1, 3, and 7 should be used with varying to extreme caution, especially around food or drinks. You should pretty much like not use 6 at all, ever. If you can avoid it, don't do it. And I should also note that these estrogen mimicking hormones that I've mentioned previously are water soluble, which means that if you stop or greatly reduce your plastic use, you can essentially pee out all the chemicals within like 2 weeks. If you guys want to check out how plastic was actually made and discovered, you guys should check out my video that I'm going to link down below and somewhere on the screen, because I go more into depth about plastic and its origins. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to hug a tree, because I'm going to see you guys next time. Bye.